AL Music Man, ladies and gentlemen, Arturo Leon, AL Music Man, coming at you from my new YouTube video, from my YouTube channel. Go to the official Smooth Grooves Radio 1. Go to the official website, smoothgroovesradio1.com. The hits and rarities, nostalgic R&B, hip-hop, and smooth jazz, dedicated to the lates and the greats of music listening experience. Once again, go to the website, smoothgroovesradio1.com for all details. Major shout out to all content creators, influencers, advertisers, businesses, business owners, independent artists, R&B, hip-hop, and jazz artists. We would love to work with you and advertise with you. In fact, email smoothgroovesr1@gmail.com. And between myself and content creator Miss Naturally Just Safi, we will definitely get back to you on how to work with us one-on-one services, advertising services. Let's do this. Let's be creative and let's get it cracking. Major shout out, content creator Miss Naturally Just Safi of BeJustSafiSpot.com. JSB Oil Blends, a monthly newsletter, and of course one-on-one consultation services. JSB Oil Blends, BeJustSafiSpot.com. Definitely check that out. My vinyl collection, ladies and gentlemen, part something. I don't even know, but I love telling stories. All of my LPs, all my vinyl collections that I either bought myself, or the majority of them I inherited from my late uncle. And I know last time I went off on my Usher LP story, which it's funny now, but when it happened, I'm like, I don't remember that, but okay. So Miss Naturally Just Safi, you got that. Fair enough. Right here, the Jackson's Victory album. Yes, I'm a major Michael Jackson fan, and this right here, the Victory album, obviously, this was the monumental album right here. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, the monumental album. And not to say that it's better than anything that they ever came out with, but you got State of Shock, you got Torture, which was the selling point, Body, which was always like, and that was it, always so called the catchy tune, but also like the other song that you wouldn't even think that they would come out with it. Mr. Marlon Jackson wrote, produced, and he was behind that song. Again, catchy tune, once you get used to it, and I don't have a problem with it. It caught heat compared to the Tortures and State of Shock. You can't compare one song to the other. But either way, this song, this album right here, again, Victory, they was all going through trend. They always go through, the Jacksons always went through a serious transition in their albums, which every artist does. Michael, with the Pepsi commercial accident and everything he was going through with that, and still push himself to be the absolute even better than he was, and he was in pain during that time, and a lot of people up to this day will not accept that, or will not understand the pain that he went through, and was taking he had to take some medication to push himself to be the king of pop, to be Michael Jackson. Of course, people took that left field and say, oh no, he's this, he's that. It's like, unless you go through his shoes, unless you ever go through his shoes, or any artist in that matter, and what they go through in their behind the scenes, you can't talk, because you don't know what people go through. You really don't know what people go through in their life. You know what I mean? Artists are gonna be artists. They're gonna do what they're gonna do behind the scenes. And unless we go through the same exact thing, I don't believe we can judge. But of course, a lot of people will definitely completely disagree with that, and hold them accountable. They should be, but at the same time, we can't judge. I do have a lot of duplicates. I'm just not realizing. But again, I inherited a lot of albums, from my parents and from my aunt, from my late uncle, my aunt, and all of them bought the same album at different times, as far as I know. So some I ordered myself, others I so-called, quote-unquote, borrowed from, my parents or my aunt or my uncle. So throughout the 70s, I mean, they bought records, and again, the Jacksons. So this was probably my aunt's or my dad's, either way. But I have a lot of duplicate albums because they gave it to me. I built my studio and they say, oh, here it is. Like, I'm like, we already have this. Like, okay, have it again. I'm like, all right, I ain't gonna argue about it. So, I'm not gonna argue about it and everything. So, again, the Jackson Victory album. Something tells me this is it looks very, very clear and crisp. So this is probably my aunt's, because I know my dad played this a lot when I was a kid. So the fact that it's kind of crystal clear, it looks like a brand new LP, like I just ordered it back yesterday or something, or like I just got it last week. So this has to be, that has to be my aunt's. Mr. Barry White. Oh yes. Only thing I remember from Barry White was his part in The Secret Garden, and of course it's actually you mean when you lay next to me, and then practice what you preach, and then stay in power. And but Barry White, the ultimate voice of, or so-called the ultimate voice of romance, you know what I mean? And he was definitely underestimated back in the day. He was underestimated before he became the Barry White, because they couldn't really they say, how is a man like that known as a sex symbol for the ladies? And let me tell you something, he must have had good game, good conversation. His voice obviously was top dollar. So I mean, people doubt if he could sing or not, but it wasn't really his voice, his singing voice. It was more or less, his speaking voice. That real deep, serious baritone, deep baritone singing voice that he had. You know what I mean? So, hey, what I say is don't underestimate people. But of course, people are going to do that anyway. This is SGR1, ladies and gentlemen. SGR1, Smooth Grooves Radio 1. The weeknight wind down, of course. Arturo Leon, AL Music Man. Don't forget, go to the official website, smoothgroovesradio1.com for all details. In fact, everything is in the description. So, follow my YouTube channel, my YouTube page, and listen to all archived episodes on the website. Once again, major shout out to content creator Miss Naturally Just Safi of thejustsafispot.com. Monthly to sign up for our monthly newsletter for access to updates on all of our content creating specials and stories, and just JSB oil blends. Absolutely, there's a lot going on here at SGR1 and JSB oil blends. thejustsafispot.com, smoothgroovezradio1.com. Check out the archives. See you in a bit.